So which of the following statements have the speaker acknowledged responsibility for his or her feelings? First one, you irritate me when you leave company documents on the conference room floor. Do you think the speaker has acknowledged responsibility for his feelings or her feelings? Yes? No. It's because he's using the words pronouns instead of saying I feel irritated, right? The second one, I feel angry when you say that. Did the speaker acknowledge responsibility for his or her feelings? Yes? Yes, he did. So, I feel angry when you say that. And he said, why? Because I am wanting respect and I hear your words as an insult. 3, I feel frustrated when you come late. Has the speaker acknowledged his feelings? Yes? Yes, he has. 4th, I'm sad that you won't be coming for dinner because I was hoping we could spend the evening together. Has the speaker acknowledged the feelings? Yes, the speaker has acknowledged the feelings. Number 5, I feel disappointed because you say you would do it and you didn't. Has the speaker acknowledged the feelings? Yes. Next part. So, and again, I think the answer should appear. So we'll just go a little bit deeper into each of the example. So for the third example is that I feel frustrated when you come late. He gave the feelings, gave an observation, but he didn't say his need. And in this example, how he could have better applied NVC to this conversation was to say, I was hoping we'll be able to get some front row seats. That was what his needs were. The fifth one is again the same thing. The speaker forget to talk about his needs. And in this way, you could have better used the NVC steps by saying, I felt disappointed because the need is I want to be able to rely upon your words. Next one. So nonviolent communication is not just being about to express oneself, but it's about being able to listen with empathy. Empathy doesn't mean fixing someone's feelings, it means being present. How many of us sometimes when we hang out with our friends and then our friends are very sad and we feel very burdened in our heart because we care about them a lot. So in those cases, you just need to know that it's not about being able to fix their problems. Actually, just being there to listen to them is already very helpful for them. So our ability to offer empathy can allow us to stay vulnerable, diffuse potential violence, hear the word no without taking it as a rejection, and even hear the feelings and needs expressed through silence. And this is a reflection question for you. What makes you feel truly listened to? So imagine one of your friends said the following to you. What good does talking to you do? You never listen. How could we respond using the principles of NVC? So first, a tip is to pause and ask yourself, what does this person need? And just spend some time thinking about how you could respond using nonviolent communication. So when we are on the recipient end of this type of communication, from my personal experience, I find that I tend to blame myself. I'll be like, oh, I didn't listen to them. Next time I need to listen to them more. So that is the first one, is when we try to accommodate for other people's feelings and needs. But by blaming ourselves, we don't recognize that we also have our own needs and feelings. The second step is kind of the progression from that is where we know our feelings and needs, but we start to blame the other person. It's like, oh, that person is wrong. And we tend to do this when we try to protect our own feelings and needs. Now the third step is when we understand our feelings and needs. It's like when you are on the receiving end of this, sometimes you suddenly feel, you feel very unfair. You feel like I've been such a good friend, but then she accused me of not listening to her. And then maybe you'll feel this, that I feel sad because I want to be a good friend. I want to be able to connect. So that's your needs. The fourth one is understanding other people's needs. So in this case, that is where we'll go into next. Are you feeling unhappy because you are needing to be heard? When people say something like that, they have a desire to be heard. And just by saying that and reiterating that, it helps them to understand that you are actually listening to them. You actually know what they're feeling, and you are there for them. Next one. Another way you could say is, it sounds like you are frustrated because you would like to feel more connection when we speak. And so sometimes you can label emotions. You might not get it right, but it's a step, and you can let the other person correct you. They might be like, oh, I'm actually not frustrated, I'm sad, like that. Next one. There's another quote from this book that I really like, and it's about motivation. The quote says, "We want to take action out of the desire to contribute to life rather than out of fear, guilt, shame, or obligation." I remember the times in my life when I was motivated out of a sense of duty, out of I should. When we motivate ourselves out of the sense of I should, oftentimes we have an inner rebel within us, and we are like, I don't want to do it. If somebody tell you should do this, what's your initial reaction? Especially like if your parents tell you should wash the dishes, you'll be like, I don't want to wash the dishes. Or you don't dare to say it out. You'll be inside, you're like, I don't want to do it, but then you still do it. But there's always this inner rebellion going on within ourselves. So rather than I should, another way to frame it is I choose. Yes. So even like something that is not enjoyable, maybe studying might not be an enjoyable thing to you, but when you frame it as I choose to study because I want to improve myself. I want to have a good education. For me, when I was in university, there were people who were very stressed about getting good grades and getting a high grade system, and when they don't get it, they judge themselves or they blame themselves, or I should do better, I should study harder. And so that's a cycle of doing it out of fear and out of self-blaming. But then I think a better way to do it is I want to study, and if I can't get the grades, at least I put the effort in to try. You do it out of a positive motivation, and that will get you farther in life. You won't get burned out as quickly. So let's just think, what motivated you the last time you worked hard for something? Was it fear or a need you truly value? Next slide. So I was really thankful I read this book. Last year, there were a lot of situations going on. There was a lot of conflict when I was working with people, and I heard that people were recommending this book about how to communicate non-violently. So finally this year I got to read it, and what I thought when I read it was I should have read this way earlier. It would have helped me so much, because when I look back at the situation that I faced, I understand that actually behind all those conflict is somebody who is in need. And if I could see past the blame and the judgment, I could see why they were saying those things. So my takeaway question for you today is, before that, previous slide again. How can you apply nonviolent communication to your life? The next slide. I won't have time to go through discussion questions today. Feel free to take a picture and just reflect upon it yourself. Also really encourage you, if this is something that you really struck a chord with you, you can go get it online or something. Yeah, there's a lot more content in there, but I don't have time to go through all of it. Thank you very much. Very good, Mrs. Hannah.
Assalamualaikum. 안녕하세요. Good afternoon or still good morning. Boleh saya mengundang semua untuk bangkit berdiri? Agak lama dudukkan, jadi boleh gerakan stretching dulu ya. Silakan duduk. Boleh silakan duduk. Maaf. Oh ya. Oh sudah, nggak ada senam pagi ini, nggak ada senam, nggak ada. Masing-masing saja. Oke. Nama saya Daniel. Asli Korea, lahir di Korea, pindah ke Amerika, jadi saya besarkan di Amerika. Itu kenapa saya bisa bahasa Inggris lebih lancar. Ya. When you look at me this morning, everyone has a predisposed conception. Yeah? But you're already looking at the clothes that I'm wearing, the shoes that I wear, right? My face, my hair, you're all processing what is this I see in front of me. Betul kan? Yeah? But what is it that you're thinking is going to be impacted by your values, your beliefs, your view, and what you have experienced? Betul? Or cakep? Cakep. Ya, betul. Cakep, ya. Boleh ngomong cakep. So, what I want to share with you is something that is very meaningful to me and how my life changed dramatically. Okay? Everyone knows what this is. Apa ini? Snack. Kotak. Buat apa yang bikin ini? Tujuan kotak ini apa ini sama tanya ke saya hari ini? What's the purpose of this box? The person who created this box. What was the purpose of it? Untuk dibungkus ya mungkin. Isinya bisa beda-beda, tapi tujuan kotak ini untuk bawa sesuatu. Betul kan? Ya, cakep. So, my question that we all have is a very philosophical question. What is a philosophical question? Do you know? We are at a university, right? What does the university encourage every student to do? Menghafal sesuatu? Tidak. Bukan menghafal, tapi to understand, to encourage thinking, to grow in understanding, so that we can be a holistic human being. Betul kan? Yeah? So, what I want to ask is some philosophical questions today. What is a philosophical question? A philosophical question is a deep, thought-provoking inquiry that explores fundamental aspects of human existence, reality, knowledge, value, and meaning. Cakep? Yeah. They ask these questions, why or what does it mean? Cakep? Have you asked those questions before? Why? When I came to Indonesia, 4 tahun yang lalu, I asked the question why a lot. Mengapa? Kenapa? Ya? Mengapa ada yang bawa motor di atas pinggir jalan? Mengapa cuma ada 2 arah tapi motornya ada 5 garis? Or there's 4 lines, ya? Mengapa? What are those questions? Observation, and you're trying to understand why. That's how we're designed. That's what we're created to ask. Those are deep philosophical questions. However, these questions of why does it exist, what is its purpose, doesn't have a very straightforward answer. And nor does everyone agree on your answers. Betul kan? Cakep. Yeah, but they encourage reflection, discussion, and most importantly, critical thinking. Yeah? Okay, so next slide, please. Some categories of philosophical questions ask these specific things. Existence and meaning. Why do I exist? For what purpose? Identity and self. Who am I? What am I? Why am I what I am? Morality and ethics. What is good? What is evil? It asks purpose and direction. Tujuannya apa? Consciousness and reality. What is real? What is not real? Those are some philosophical questions that we ask. Is AI real? To some, maybe. To others, maybe not. Okay? So next slide. And existence and meaning. What is purpose of life? Why is there something rather than nothing? Is life inherently meaningful, or do we create our own meaning? Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So if you're talking about existence and meaning, these are some of the questions that would fall under this category. What is the purpose of life? Why is there something rather than nothing? Is life inherently meaningful, or do we create our own meaning? Can life have meaning without belief in a higher power? Yeah? Moving on. Next slide. Identity and self. Who am I? Really, who am I? Kalau teman-teman, bapak sama ibu pulang rumah lihat cermin kan, wah, siapa saya? Ada yang apa ya? Cantik, ada yang kurang cantik mungkin, ada yang ganteng, ada yang kurang, ada yang bentuknya beda-beda ya. But who am I? Itu cuman bentuknya, tapi who am I is asking dalam. Sifat saya siapa? Who am I really? Okay? Do we have free will, or are our choices already determined by somebody or something? How much of who I am is shaped by society? Lingkungan kita yang bentukan orang-orang. Atau saya sendiri bisa? Atau apa lagi? Okay? Morality and ethics. Next slide, please. What makes something right or wrong? Is morality objective or subjective? Next slide. Do humans have an obligation to help others or not? Can a person be truly good without ever facing temptation? Yeah, those are morality and ethics questions. Then you have purpose and direction questions. What should I do with my life? Pasti, kalau udah masuk kuliah atau universitas, kalian semua udah tanya kan, what jurusan apa saya harus ambil? Ya, dengan itu, what will I do with it after I get it? Right? What should I do with my life? Is the success the same as fulfillment? How do we know if we're living authentically? Is it better to live a short life, meaningful life, or a long, comfortable life? Kalau, gak ada clicker saya. Next, yeah, there you go. Yeah, purpose and direction. So, what should I do with my life? Is success the same as fulfillment? How do we know if we're living authentically? Is it better to live a short life, meaningful life, or a long, comfortable life? Ini saya mau tanya. Boleh dijawab. Ya. Apakah Anda mau live a short life? Kalau short life mungkin usia sampai 43. And then, udah, sama meninggal dunia. Meaningful life. A life that impacts and leaves a legacy. Ada yang akan mengingatkan Anda sesudah Anda meninggal dunia, ya? Or ada? Angkat tangan. Gak ada. So you want to live a long, comfortable life, santai, orang kaya, bisa kemana-mana, perjalanan gitu. Apa yang mau itu? No one. Ada jawaban yang lain? Saya kurang tahu. So is it better, that's my question, is it better to live a short life, a meaningful long life, or a long, comfortable life? Ibu, ada jawaban? Mau apa? Belum ada. Sudah menikah, Bu? Sudah, oke. Pasti akan lebih short life ya, karena suaminya sulit ya. Bercanda. Okay, comparing views on purpose of life. Ada beberapa sudut pandang. Jadi saya tidak mau, I don't want to talk about religion, but religion does impact how certain people around the world view things, right? So I want to talk about a few different religions. I'm not a religious professor, so I just Googled it, Google Chat, and kind of, not Google Chat, but I Googled, searched, and found some of these answers. Ada yang pernah dengar secularism? Secularism tahu apa itu? Okay, let's learn together. Next slide. Secularism views purpose of life. There is no purpose. Nggak ada tujuannya untuk hidup. Okay? There is human experience, there is human reason, there is human ethics. The focus on secularism is growth, connection, contribution. Cakep? Okay, lanjut. Ada Hinduism. The purpose of life in Hinduism is to fulfill dharma, seek moksha, liberation, to realize the divine self. Okay? The path is through devotion, knowledge, action, meditation. They focus on the cosmic order, spiritual growth, then union with the Brahman, yeah? The ultimate goal, liberation from cycle of rebirth and unity with the divine. That's Hinduism, yeah? Lanjut. And then next is Buddhism. Buddhism, purpose of life is to overcome suffering, want to focus on inner transformation, a separation from desire, compassion for all things, and then the goal is liberation from the cycle of rebirth. Okay? Ini Islam. Saya kurang tahu tentang Islam terlalu banyak, tapi ini dari Google ya. To worship Allah and to live according to His guidance. Cakep? Okay, thank you. Following the Quran and the Sunnah. Is Sunnah? Betul? Performing acts of worship and living morally. Cakep? Okay. Submission to God, community responsibility, and preparing for the afterlife. Cakep? Okay. Attain Jannah, paradise, through faith and righteous deeds. Cakep? Okay. Yeah, one more. Christianity. Purpose of life, to know, to love, and serve God, to live in a relationship with Him. They have faith in Jesus, love for others, living by biblical principles. The focus is redemption, grace, transformation through Christ, and then the goal is to go to heaven. Is the goal for a Christian. Yeah. So semua have a view on how to find purpose. Find purpose, yeah? Slide berikutnya. Next slide. So when you have a purpose, you have a what? You have a goal, or you have an intention. Okay? So intentionally meaning is that you do things out of the things that you value. The way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you perceive life comes from your beliefs and your values. Cakep. So each of us in this room ought to figure out, what is my purpose? Harus ada vision statement. Tahu vision statement? Kenapa? Why do I exist is a vision statement. And then a mission statement. Ada yang tahu apa itu mission statement? Mission statement is, what am I going to do to accomplish my vision statement? Itu artinya. Paham? Cakep? Okay? So, a question would be, you came to this school for apa? Why did you come to this school? Apa? Study? But before you decide to study, there has to be a reason why you want to study. Yeah? Because there's so many different universities, yeah, betul? And each university has a very specific specialty, yeah? So the university that you choose to go to has to be in line with what you want to do. That makes sense? So that would be vision and a statement, a purpose statement, okay? So we all have a goal. So why did I choose this book? The very first slide tells us this is the Purpose-Driven Life. That's the book that I was given to me when I was in high school. So I'll share a little bit about myself. So when I was 5 years old, we moved to California, Los Angeles, and my parents were not very kaya. They were not very rich, yeah? And so we left Korea to move to America for opportunity, for new life, for new purpose. And so I remember when I was really young that we would eat, but there was not enough food. Yeah? So sometimes we would be hungry. Ada yang alami seperti itu juga? Yeah? Sometimes there was like one hamburger and we cut it into 4 pieces so that we could share. Pernah? Mungkin. And so my dream as a young child is, when I grow up, I want to be successful. When I grow up, I want to be rich. When I grow up, I want to travel the world. When I grow up, I want to do anything that I want to do and no one can tell me no. That was my goal. Ada yang share the same similar sentiments? No? Kada? Wow. Okay. Sorry. So what did I want to do? I studied engineering, Ingenieurlistrik. So I studied that. I wanted to be a pilot. So I went to Sekolah Militer, yeah, because I wanted to fly planes. Because if I fly planes, I can see the whole world. Yeah? Keren sekali, yeah? So when I was in class 3 Universitas saya, class 2 Universitas saya di Air Force Academy, Sekolah Militer Angkatan Udara di Amerika. Saya masuk cockpit di depan, di belakang setir, saya ambil. Yeah, I had my instructor pilot next to me, and he goes, nyalakan or hidupin pesawat ini. Saya bilang, how? Nggak ada, belum pernah saya coba ini, ya. So he says this. I turn everything on, and then he gets the radio, puts it on my head, and so now we start the engines and we take off on the plane. As we are going faster and faster, yeah, my heart starts to shake. It's like dun 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 dun, yeah. And then he says, pull back on the steering wheel. So I pull back, and pesawat ini terbang. Yeah? And as we're taking off, everything starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller, kan? Ya? Mobilnya seperti yang besar begini, jadi gini, ya. And then, as I'm in the air, the instructor says, push forward on the steering handle. Guess what happens when you push forward? The plane goes like this to this. And I started, ah! It was so scary. It was so scary. But you know what? It was so cool. And then, suddenly, this happened. That's it. Ada yang pernah naik roller coaster? Ada yang suka? Antriannya panjang sekali kan? Tapi kalau naik cuma berapa titik? Habis itu, aduh, itu aja. I wasted 3 hours atau 2 jam atau 1 jam atau gimana panjang ya. And then naiknya cuma 30 titik, paling lama 30 titik. I feel like, what a waste of life. Can I get my money back? That's exactly how I felt when I went in that plane. Selama-lamanya, saya pengen menjadi pilot supaya saya bisa kemana-mana, biar rasa keren, dapat gajinya lebih besar, ya. Tapi sesudah itu, naik pesawat, naik. Saya rasa seperti, sorry ya, supir Gojek. Bapak mau kemana? Siap, ya, seperti itu. Soalnya berangkat, turun, mendarat kan, turun, passenger juga, penumpang juga turun, naik lagi, kemana aja, itu selama hidup saya rasa, wah, apa perbedaan dengan supir taksi? Nggak ada, cuma gajinya lebih bagus ya. But then I began to think, is that why I exist? To become supir pesawat selama-lamanya? Saya rasa enggak. Pasti ada tujuan lebih besar dibandingkan itu. Yaitu. So I began to think, as I read this book, Purpose Driven Life, what kind of purpose must I have? Ada macam-macam. Everyone's going to have a different purpose. But what was really important was trying to discover that purpose, and this book really helped me to kind of navigate what is my purpose? Why do I exist? What do I want to do? I want to challenge you, students, faculty, alumni, friends, that when you read, it's more than just reading textbooks and memorizing answers, but finding books that can really help you develop who you are and become to understand who you are. Saya kurang suka buku-buku fiction, science fiction, apalagi saya kurang suka buku-buku itu. I like to read books that are meaningful to me, books that give me understanding. And everyone's different, so it's not wrong to enjoy fictional books or this or that or other types of topics or genre. But for me personally, I really enjoy books that bring meaning. And so I want to encourage you, if you want to or have the chance, yeah, definitely pick up a book, Purpose Driven Life. Thank you. That's all I wanted to share today.
Okay, very well. Okay, very inspiring story of the books that Mr. Daniel has read. Yeah, it's about worship, fellowship, disciples, and also ministry. Very inspiring book. All right, now we come to the Q&A session. Yeah, we invite all the guests here to ask questions to our keynote speaker. I'm going to take 5 questions from the floor for each of our speakers today. To Ms. Hannah, Mr. Keith, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Derek, and also Mr. Joshua. So please, you can raise your hand if you have questions. Please tell us who you are and where you come from. For example, Dewi from Universitas Bina, like that. Okay? All right. Please raise your hand if you have questions. Anyone? Come on. There are also participants from English Literature Study Program. They also learn about literature. Yeah, they read books, novels, story, short stories for their drama class and others. Yes. Oh, okay. Satu yang paling belakang Cisha, probably. Please raise your hand.
Yang mana tadi? Yang angkat tangan mau tanya? Ada yang mau tanya?
Ayo, silahkan yang mau bertanya. If you're hesitate to ask because you're afraid you have to speak in English, you can speak in Bahasa. Please. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Please mention your name and also your institution. Don't worry, we will give you door prize after this. Yeah, you will get prizes. Please address your questions to one of the keynote speakers.
Good morning, Mr. Keys. Sorry, my English is not very good, but I'll try. My name is Umi Fatima from Universitas Bina Dharma. I want to ask, how could you enjoy reading a book when at first you saw the cover as boring, but now you have reached this point where you become a speaker to share your experience with us? And how do you deal with a book when you find some parts that are less interesting or boring? Thank you.
Okay, very well.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. So there is a big difference between me and my wife. When my wife reads a book and after 2 or 3 chapters, she doesn't like it, she stops reading. Yeah. But when I read a book, I read it until the end. Because you never know, there can be something interesting in the last chapter or the last page. So my wife said, "Ah, this book is boring." I stopped reading it. And now I continue because there can something interesting in it. So that's my strange habit. So to get some discussion here in front, maybe on my 1,000 books, I think 95% are novels, fiction, historical fiction, not so much white science fiction. We call it killer novels or something like that. Mystery novel, yeah. So, and I think reading is not only to gain knowledge, but also to appreciate like what is written, to experience it. And in novels, you can learn about what life means for the personalities in the book. So there is theory in the more theoretical books, but novels make explanation of what is learned in theory. So to get some discussion here in front. Okay, so the second question was, how do you terus membaca melalui bagian-bagian yang membosankan atau bahkan buruk ya? Like it is boring or some such. Usually what I like to do, I read more fiction and science fiction. And so what I like to do is trace the benang merah, right? So there's always a benang merah. History book, non-fiction, fiction, science fiction, so ada benang merah. Ikut, saya suka ikut benang merah itu. Agar kalau ada sebagian yang sangat membosankan, saya bisa mengerti kenapa sebagian ini ada. Yeah. Why is it there? Why does the author add this? Sometimes it's actually very useful information. But as Pakis said, you never know what's ahead. Right? Hopefully the book ends well. Sometimes you get disappointed, right? Sometimes there's the darkness. We call it dark. But most times the book will end better. It doesn't stay boring forever. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keys and also Mr. Josh for the answer. All right, now we come to the second question. Okay, please. Teacher.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Dwi Putri Musdalipa. Saya dari UIN Raden Patah Palembang. My name is Dwi Putri Musdalipa. Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia, Pak? Bagaimana, saya mau bertanya, bagaimana caranya agar saat kita membaca itu tidak terdistraksi kayak gitu? Ya, how can we avoid distraction while reading?
Reading without distraction.
Yeah.
To whom can you address your question to?
Mr. Mr. Kiss.
Who?
Mr. Kiss.
Okay, Mr. Keys also.
Distraction. Yes. So for me, like reading is like a hobby or relaxing time. So like watching a movie. If you watch a movie, you are quite focused on the movie. You will not easily take your handphone during watching a movie. So for me, is reading is like making a movie in my head about what I'm reading. So I do not have time to take my handphone to get distracted. So the important thing by reading is not only reading words, but making a picture. And then reading becomes enjoyable. I'm not an English speaker, so I have to check okay. So this is an important thing. Not only reading words, but creating a picture of what you are reading. And then you see something beautiful. And there are books that are difficult to make pictures, and then you get more easily distracted. Me too, although I like reading. But the important thing is making a picture or a movie in your head.
I'll just add a little bit. My name is Aaron. So I have 3 young children. So you can imagine it can be very distracting to try to read. Exactly. So, but I think I want to encourage you. If you have to make it a priority, right? So it doesn't have to be reading, whatever it is. If it is important to you, you must make it a priority. So if reading is a priority, it's not about the length of time, right? It's about setting aside some time. So with me, because I have my children running around, I'll just take 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the morning, just for myself to read a little bit. And then maybe I can do another 20 minutes later in the day. The great thing about a book is you can
Put it down and you can pick it back up, right? You know where you are, and hopefully you're able to remember what you read previously and you can continue on, right? But that's just the key. The making whatever it is, whether it's studying, whether it's reading, your family, my children, we need to know what our priorities are, and we need to make time for those things. Yeah.
Okay, very great answer from Mr. Keys and also Mr. Darren. Yeah. All right. Now we open the third question. Okay. Probably you go first. In the middle, Chicha.
Okay, thank you. My name is Nadirin. I am from Senior High School Number 1, Talang Kelapa. Boleh menggunakan bahasa Indonesia?
Yes, please.
Dari pengalaman pribadi Anda, Menurut Anda, seberapa penting membaca dalam perjalanan hidup Anda? From your personal experience, how important do you think reading is in your life journey?
Who do you want to ask question to?
Mr. Daniel?
Mr. Daniel, please.
Thank you for your question. How important is reading a part of our life? That's your question, yeah? How important is eating a part of your life? Very important, yeah? So one thing that I find reading to be very important is understanding lots of different people in this world who wrote in that book have many different types of knowledge, experience, and understanding. In our lifetime, we're not going to be able to experience everything, know everything, or understand everything that everyone else experiences, right? But the fastest way that we can understand and receive this knowledge is from other people's experiences and knowledge, right? And so that's why I would say reading is so crucial and important in that we can learn much more, much diverse, and in such a short length of time and not have to experience everything ourselves. Does that help a little bit? Yeah?
Mungkin kami bisa mengingat kata-kata dari Bapak Rektor tadi. Membaca itu bukan hanya membaca buku, tetapi juga website dan lain-lain. Ada banyak hal yang bisa dibacakan. Dan saya rasa ini metode yang pertama untuk mengumpulkan pengetahuan.
All right. Now, another 2 questions, please. Yeah, okay. Cica, probably Bapak dari mana, Pak? Okay.
Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Saya mau bertanya bahasa Indonesia saja, kalau perlu bahasa Palembang.
Oke, bahasa Palembang. Oke.
Yang saya ingin tanyakan mungkin untuk semua atau siapa aja yang bisa menjawabnya. Yang pertama, perkenalkan saya Amir Sutisna dari Dinas Perpustakaan Provinsi Sumatera Selatan sebagai Kepala Bidang Pengembangan Budaya Baca. Yang pertama, saya berpikir bahwa kemampuan membaca cepat dalam hal ini supaya punya budaya baca itu penting kalau menurut saya, karena tanpa kemampuan membaca cepat maka lambat pemahaman, juga lambat dapat pengetahuan seperti itu. Mungkin apakah menurut Anda ini penting atau gimana tentang baca cepat? Karena tadi Pak Rektor mengatakan bahwa itu tidak penting, artinya hanya pemahaman aja gitu. Kemampuan speed reading seperti itu, satu. Yang kedua, saya punya pemahaman bahwa cukup satu buku untuk menyenangi, atau cukup satu buku yang disenangi untuk gemar membaca gitu. Apakah demikian menurut Anda? Yang ketiga, kebetulan kami dari dinas, dan kebetulan juga kami baru tahu tentang komunitas Cinta Baca. Memang selama ini juga kami tahu hanya di media sosial. Mungkin ini kesempatan kami untuk bisa berkolaborasi ke depannya juga. Karena kami juga merupakan pembina untuk di Sumatera Selatan, untuk dinas-dinas dan pokoknya seluruh perpustakaan. Yang ingin kami tanyakan juga dari beberapa penyajian tadi bahwa betapa pentingnya membaca buku ini, dan saya punya hooknya begini, bahwa buku adalah kehidupan. Buku dapat menghidupi penulisnya, dapat royalti dan sebagainya. Buku juga kehidupan bagi pembacanya. Ketika membaca maka orang itu punya motivasi, punya keterampilan dan lain-lain. Dan yang ketiga bahwa buku adalah kehidupan. Ketika penulis itu sudah meninggal, maka seakan orang itu masih ada, seperti itu. Kami, apakah menurut Anda ataupun tanggapan Anda tentang ini bagaimana? Karena ini saya akan selalu berikan, artinya untuk memotivasi bahwa buku adalah kehidupan, karena bukan hanya satu orang, karena dia industri. Artinya banyak yang banyak yang terhubung dengan buku, termasuk kita, untuk meningkatkan pengetahuan. Mungkin itu aja dari kami. Semoga ada pendapat lain ataupun inspirasi lain, karena nanti akan kami gunakan di lembaga kami untuk juga bisa menginspirasi dari berbagai tadi yang sudah disajikan seperti itu. Terima kasih. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very thoughtful questions, Bapak. Please give a big applause to
Kami ingin memperkenalkan bahasa Palembang untuk bapak-bapak yang di depan. Jadi
bahasa Palembang.
Di Palembang ada bahasa namanya Wong Kito Galo. Jadi kita Wong Kito Galo. Jadi buku untuk kita galau. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak atas pertanyaannya. Oke. He's asking about speed reading. Yeah, just like what the acting director said before, that there are some people, or there are most people who just read by scrolling, for example, yeah, not really reading through deep comprehension like that. So is it a good method to do that or not? Yeah, who will answer first? Okay, Miss Hannah first.
To answer the question, I think in certain cases it's okay to speed read. So for example, like you're reading a news article, and then so news is always changing, right? So you just want to quickly know what's going on. In other cases, like a book, and if it has a lot of deep thinking, very deep concepts, sometimes you have to read longer, more slower. The other method of reading, I know one of my friend, he will go through the chapter and he will choose which chapter he thinks is more applicable to him, and he jumps around. But my style is I read from start to finish, and sometimes I read it quickly, and sometimes after I read it quickly, I read it another time but slowly. So it really depends on the situation. But what I find helpful is to write notes when you're reading, and then maybe a year later, if you think it's a very good book, read it again, because some books are very useful throughout your life and you might need to read it again to remind yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So, bahasa. Saya adalah orang yang membaca pelan-pelan. Ya. Pada umumnya, saya tidak bisa membaca cepat. Tetapi ada bedanya membaca novel atau belajar. Ya. Kalau belajar, studi skill, adalah membaca kalimat pertama, kedua, dan kalimat yang terakhir, dan you sudah bisa membayangkan apa yang ada di tengahnya. Ya, kira-kira begitu. Dan saya yakin kalau baru mulai belajar harus membaca teks anteronya. Tapi kalau sudah dapat pengetahuan lebih, dia sudah bisa macam perkirakan apa yang tertulisnya kalau membaca bagian pertama, bagian terakhirnya. Dia untuk yang baru mulai belajar di universitas mungkin harus membaca pelan-pelan. Sudah dekat dengan tesis bisa membaca lebih cepat, ya. Tapi ini membaca karena studinya. Kalau rasa paragraf ini penting, jangan hanya yang pertama, yang terakhirnya, anteronya. Tapi untuk membaca macam baca scroll, walaupun buku tidak bisa scroll, tapi bisa memilih bagian yang terpentingnya. Tapi kalau saya membaca novelnya, ya saya membaca pelan dan pelan, tapi karena suka.
Apa ya? Berapa Anda tahu istilah memori kerja? Itu istilah psikologi, oke? Memori kerja ada perbedaan, ada memory short term, memory long term, memory kerja. Memory kerja itu selama durasinya mungkin 3 menit maksimum. Biasanya antara 2 dan 3 menit. Berarti kalau Anda membaca artikel atau buku teks apa saja, mungkin selama 30 menit. Kadang-kadang setelah 30 menit Anda akan berhenti dan pikir, wah, apa yang saya baru saja baca ya? Karena bingung, karena lupa. So, kalau membaca terlalu pelan-pelan, itu sangat mudah untuk lupa semua yang dibaca, ya. Nah, saya pernah melihat banyak anak kecil, anak SD di Indonesia, mereka membaca dengan mengeja, ya. Contohnya kalimat sederhana, ibu bawa bayi, bu bu, ibu, ba wa bawah, ba yi, bayi. Oke, bagus ya. Kalimat apa? Mereka gak bisa menjawab karena mereka sudah lupa kalimat sederhana itu, ya. Karena proses terlalu lama. Jadi speed reading bisa bermanfaat, ya. Tetapi hanya untuk menyerap pokok pesan. Untuk menyerap detail-detail lebih baik membaca lebih pelan-pelan. Jadi itu tergantung tujuannya, ya. Kalau mau menyerap inti saja, boleh speed reading. Bagus untuk novel fiksi atau berita, hal-hal seperti itu. Tetapi kalau mau tahu pengetahuan dalam buku teks atau dalam bidang yang penting untuk ujian, ya, lebih baik membaca lebih pelan-pelan untuk menyerap semua. Mungkin metode yang terbaik, scan dulu, speed read dulu. Mungkin 2 halaman, 3 halaman. Setelah itu mengulang, membaca lagi lebih pelan-pelan, biar memaksimalkan inti yang diserap, ya.
Okay, thank you very much for the answers. Next, yeah. Oh yeah, is it enough to only read one book or no? It's a broad period of time, yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Oh yeah, ya apakah ya is it enough to read a book ya to for a person to read a book and then like it just that one book, or they have to read a various types of book like that? Yeah. Yeah.
Tergantung selera ya. Nah, pada waktu kecil saya punya hampir 600 buku. Itu perpus miniatur ya. Dari 600 tersebut mungkin ada 50 kesukaan saya. Saya membaca buku-buku itu mungkin 8-9 kali. Ada yang lain kurang suka, gak suka sama sekali, mungkin sekali saja. But you know, how many times did you read your book, Case? This. Here you go, Case.
Pengalaman saya Bapak ini, ada buku-buku yang saya suka membaca terus kan. Apa itu? Buku memperbaiki motor. Soalnya saya kadang-kadang lupa ganti ini sama ini atau apa, cadangannya apa kan. Tapi kalau novel itu 1 kali buat cukup. Tapi memang ada banyak buku-buku yang saya sukai. Ya, ada banyak favorit buku saya. Bukan hanya satu kan. Tapi soalnya ini my inspiring book, jadi kita harus cari buku-buku yang inspiring buat kita kan. Itu kenapa memilih satu buku begitu. Tapi ada macam-macam jenis buku yang pasti semua suka. Ya, ya itu saya.
Miss Hannah, no? Oke, Bapak, apakah sudah terjawab pertanyaannya? Buku adalah kehidupan. Mungkin boleh diulang Bapak?
Izin ulang tadi ya. Mungkin bukan pertanyaan tetapi ada sebuah harapan ini menjadi bisa memotivasi untuk semua. Artinya benar enggak gitu ya. Betul enggak? Jadi buku adalah kehidupan. Artinya buku itu bisa menghidupi bagi penulisnya, artinya dapat uang dari hasil tulisannya. Yang kedua, buku menjadi kehidupan bagi pembacanya, artinya dia seakan membaca dengan membaca buku maka dia hidup motivasinya dan mau belajar dan sebagainya. Yang ketiga, buku juga kehidupan, artinya ketika orang itu meninggal, ketika masih ada buku seakan orang itu hidup. Jadi buku menghidupkan. Jadi seakan orang itu masih hidup gitu ya. Kalau dia punya satu buku seperti itu. Maksud kami ini adalah sebuah rangkaian supaya orang senang membaca buku, karena bukan hanya kita membaca buku dan membeli, ternyata banyak orang yang ekosistem yang bergerak dalam buku seperti itu. Nah, maksud kami apakah tanggapan terhadap tersebut atau gimana supaya orang tergerak untuk bisa ataupun mendukung bahwa buku adalah buku adalah kehidupan seperti itu. Atau ada inspirasi lain yang bisa menyeluruh untuk orang bisa senang atau mempunyai budaya baca seperti itu. Oke, mungkin itu ya.
Baik Bapak. Well, there is a motivational quote which said that book is life. The first one, book is the life of the writer or the author, and then the second, book is the life of the reader, and the last one, book is the life. Yeah, especially, for example, the person or the author is dead, yeah, has passed away, for example. So the people will remember the book he read or he wrote, like that. So what do you think about this quote. Yeah, how can this quote inspire people to love reading books, like that, to grow in their hearts that reading is hard, like that. Yeah. Who will answer?
So last year I read a book from a Jewish person, lives in America. She is a victim of the Second World War. Her name is Edith Eger. I don't know how to pronounce it. The book is The Choice. It is her story of her trauma. She lost all her family in the war, and she moved to America and tried to live there with the trauma. So it is her life. It is kehidupan dia, ya, kehidupan dia. Tetapi kami semuanya ada trauma juga, ya. Trauma yang berat, trauma yang sedikit ringan, tapi kita semuanya perlu ada trauma. Artinya yang saya membaca dari bagaimana dia menenangi traumanya, saya juga belajar untuk trauma dalam kehidupan saya, ya. Dan artinya betul menolong kalau kita membaca dari kehidupan orang lain, membentuk kehidupan saya. Ini kepentingan buku. Buku tentang apapun bisa memberikan visi atau pandangannya terhadap hidup yang luasnya, memperluaskan pandangan terhadap hidupnya. Tetapi saya mungkin, walaupun saya suka buku-buku, tidak mau bilang buku adalah hidup, karena hidupnya itu fakta-fakta yang terjadinya. Artinya saya membaca buku, menikmatinya, dibentuk oleh buku, tetapi real life is not the book. Like real life is not the movie. Real life is not what you see on screen, but real life is what you do. So learning how to maintain a motorcycle is not, you cannot learn it from a book. The book helps, but you have to do it in practice. Yeah? Only reading books about maintenance will not make you a good maintainer of a motorcycle. Only practicing it, and that's with all the book about trauma, about joy, about purpose. You read the book, you learn from it, but you have to practice it. So that's why I should say buku adalah hidup.
Okay, so my answer is different. Maaf ya, saya setuju. Tapi pada waktu kecil saya sangat dibully, sering dibully. Setiap hari saya tidak ada teman sama sekali. Ya, jadi pada waktu istirahat biasanya durasi 20 menit, 30 menit. Sementara semua classmates, teman kelas, teman sekolah, mereka saling bermain. Saya duduk sendirian. Melakukan apa? Membaca saja di bawah tangga. Ya. Dan saya membaca hampir 300-400 halaman per hari. Ya, tapi saya tidak rasa kesepian karena selalu ada dunia lain, ada cerita lain, ada kehidupan yang lain. It was a way for me to escape, yeah. And I learned to love escaping into other people's worlds and other people's lives because it wasn't mine. Right? Now I have friends, but I still like to go into other worlds, right? And that's why fiction is actually my favorite.
Okay, thank you very much for the generous answer from all the keynote speakers, Bapak. Okay, well, I think the question and answer questions have been closed. Yeah, since the time is limited. Yeah, for this session. So after this, we're going to have a mini activity for all of the audience, and will be judged by our keynote speakers here. So we will take 7 persons, to come forward later after the results been announced by the judges. Okay, what's the activity? I need the committee first to distribute the post-it and give them to the audience here. Committees. Boleh tolong dibagikan post-it-nya ke audience. Okay, what you have to do with the post-it is, after listening to the presenters, the journey of their lives based on books they liked and read and also shared to you, what can you take away that might inspire you? Apa yang bisa kalian ambil dari presentasi dari keynote speaker kita? My story, my books. Please write down on post-it, and the judges, our keynote speakers, will decide who can tell, or which one or which statements that inspire most, You have 5 minutes only to write. Do they have to stick them on the wall or just submit? Submit, Okay. Committee, please help me after they have already written the results. Please submit all of them and give them here. Boleh nanti kalau sudah ditulis dikumpulkan ke panitia dan panitia bisa mengumpulkannya ke depan. Oh ya, boleh. Already? Please submit the papers to the committees. You got 2 minutes left. Don't forget to write down your names on the paper, because you'll be given prizes if you're chosen. One minute left.
Where do you stay in Palembang? There are many foreigners in Cinta Baca. Yeah. Back then, the volunteers were also from library, but the library was not in is not in Kertapati just like right now. Yeah, it was in Perumnas. Yeah, I also like to go there before. Yeah. Oh, about this. Oh, okay. So how long will you be staying here? Oh, until Saturday, and you will go back to Malaysia?
Already? Please come forward if you have already collected the papers, committees. Boleh dibawa ke depan papersnya. Ya, time's up. Committees, please collect all the post-it and bring them here.
Teman-teman panitia mungkin boleh dibantu untuk mengumpulkan post-itnya.
Ya, hurry up. You have 5 minutes to decide. Choose. Yeah, after this, get ready because our lovely keynote speakers will give you questions. Yeah, they will give 2 questions to the floor. So get ready to answer them because you will be given prizes. And for those who have already asked question before, please stand by. Please, yeah. For those who have already asked question, please stay here still because you will be called, you will be given prizes too by our speakers. Yang udah bertanya tadi tetap di sini karena nanti akan dikasih hadiah ya oleh para keynote speakers kita. And if you still have questions to ask to our keynote speakers, you can approach them after this event. Thank you. Alright. Do you still remember what you have already written on the paper? Masih ingat tadi yang ditulis di kertasnya? Masih. So if you still remember, our speakers will read the post-it, and if you think that yang disampaikan atau yang dibaca itu adalah punya kalian, please come forward. Yes. Kalau kalian merasa itu adalah punya kalian, silahkan maju ke depan. Okay? Alright. Miss Hannah, please.
So, this person wrote, the meaning I can take from the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, is finding life's purpose, give direction, peace, and strength to face challenges. And then the best life is when it's used to serve, love, and glorify God.
Whose is it? Okay, please come forward. Give applause, please.
This person wrote, I have a good experience by attending this event that makes me realize how powerful books can be when it comes into shaping someone's life. A book can guide, shape, and inspire someone to live their lives and their life's journey. A book has huge contribution in life of all people. And the name is Melin. Melin.
Oke, ini nggak ada nama, jadi saya kurang tahu siapa ini. Tapi, oke, no name. Yang didapat dari materi hari ini bahwa membaca buku itu sangat perlu dan begitu penting. Ini kalimat saya suka. Membaca juga jendela ilmu.
Okay, the one I chose, this person wrote, I think I'm going to try reading other genres because what the key speakers few books are not exactly up my cup of tea, but they've given some very interesting insight. And I wanted to broaden my view of books. This is from Siri Fatima from Binadara. Yay! And the reason I wanted to pick this one is because, yeah, it's great that we learn something, but I like that she wants to apply it, right? She wants to broaden her view.
Maaf, tidak ada nama di sini juga, dan itu agak sulit membaca dengan benar ya. So ini tebakan saya, dugaan saya. Buku membuka misteri, inspirasi dan jadi misteri kehidupan. Cinta baca solusinya.
Kami panggil juga keempat orang yang telah bertanya. Ada Umi Fatimah dari Universitas Bina Dharma, silakan maju ke depan. Nadirin dari SMA 1 Talang Kelapa. Dwi dari Universitas Islam Raden Fatah Palembang, dan Bapak Emir dari Perpusda Wadah 5 dari
we still have 2 prizes. Probably anyone would like to give questions to the floor? Mr. Keys?
So, the first question is, what was the title of your last book that you read? Apakah jilid judul dari buku yang terakhir yang kamu membaca? Siapa yang pertama datang, ya? Silakan ke depan, cepat supaya dapat, ya.
Terus gimana? Yang terakhir. Saya baca buku yang terakhir judulnya Karisma.
What is the first book you've ever read, if you can remember? That one over there?
The pink one? Which one?
Oh, the guy in the blue shirt.
Oh, the guy in the blue jacket. Yeah, you.
Baiklah, buku pertama yang saya baca yaitu Iqra.
Okay, very well indeed. Give applause to the last. Well, thank you all for those thoughtful questions from the floor, and also thank you to our speakers for your generous answer. Once more, please give a big hand to our speakers of the day. Well, as we come to the end of this enriching session, let's take a moment to reflect. Behind every great story is a life fully lived. Behind every inspiring book is a brave heart willing to share. We hope today's session has reminded you that your own story matters, and that the books you read or one day write can change lives too. To all our international speakers, thank you for sharing your journeys with us. To our participants, thank you for being part of this meaningful experience. Let us continue to read, to write, and most importantly, to live stories worth telling. Well, tadi saya buka pakai pantun, saya tutup dulu pakai pantun lagi. Ya, mungkin nanti ketika Mr. Daniel pulang ke Korea bisa pakai cakep-cakep ya Mr. Daniel ya. Oke. Alright. From Ampera Bridge to Songket Bride. Cakep please. Our city glows with pride and grace. You brought your words, your guiding light, and left wisdom we'll long embrace. Thank you and see you in the next inspiring event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to MC.
Thank you very much to our moderator and speakers for the inspiring sharing session.
Terima kasih kepada moderator dan para narasumber kita hari ini untuk sesi yang sangat inspiratif.
Before we officially close today's event, let's capture this wonderful moment together. So we would like to invite everyone for a group photo session.
Sebelum kita menutup acara pada hari ini, marilah kita abadikan momen yang luar biasa ini. Kami mengundang para hadirin dan narasumber untuk foto bersama. Untuk panitia.
Untuk yang di belakang mungkin bisa agak merapat ke depan untuk foto session. For the committee, you can also join. Yang di sebelah kiri boleh geser ke sebelah kanan. Ya. Bisa. Gimana fotografer masih jomplang? Untuk para peserta boleh kembali ke tempat masing-masing. So we actually have some souvenirs for our keynote speakers today. Untuk para hadirin boleh kembali ke tempat dulu. So we would like to invite Miss Hannah, to come to the stage because we have some souvenirs for you that will be given by Ibu Marina dan Ibu Dewi. And then we invite Miss Gloria. We invite Mr. Josh to come to the stage. And then Mr. Dan to come to the stage for the souvenirs. Mr. Darren, Mr. Keys, and then Mr. David to come to the stage. Mr. Iqdar, nggak ada, oke. Miss Amy to come to the stage, and then Mr. John, Dian, Ibu Dian, Miss Grace to come to the stage, Ibu Asti, and then Ibu Yuna.